And focusing now on Sri Lanka, the much-awaited voting to elect the president of crisis-hit Sri Lanka has finally begun. It's a three-cornered contest which includes acting President Ranil Wickremesinghe as well. In fact, this after leader of opposition backed out and pledged his support to one of the other candidates as far as the new president is concerned. In fact, the new president will serve the remaining tenure of Gotabaya Rajapaksa till November 2024. Let me straight go across to Jehan Perera, Executive Director, National Peace Council of Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, Mr. Perera, for joining us. My apologies for the delay in coming to you. But your perspective here, Ranil Wickremesinghe is one of the people who are, contesting for the post of the president. However, there's already been a lot of outrage against him as well. How do you see that play out?
Yeah, Ranil Wickremesinghe is very much respected in Sri Lanka as a six-time prime minister and a man who has a lot of experience in dealing with the economy and with the international community and being a very cultured person also. However, the unfortunate reality today is that he has become the candidate of the Rajapaksa party. And the Rajapaksas are the ones who the protest movement drove out. And over the last few months, they drove out the president, they drove out the prime minister, they drove out the cabinet of ministers, because the country is in such a bad situation, for which the Rajapaksas, the last government, has to take responsibility. Now, Ranil Wickremesinghe has come in to stabilize that situation, and also he is their candidate. So people find it very unacceptable that he should try and preserve that corrupt old system that existed. And so if he should win this election, which he very well might, then we can anticipate that the protests will go on. And it's not just protests by leftists and youth, it is protests by a wide cross-section of society from all parts of the country, all classes, and all religions.
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, that really remains to be seen. But at this point in time, in your perspective, what is the first and foremost thing that will need to be addressed as soon as the new president comes in?
The new president will have to win the confidence of the people, because if he does not win the confidence of the people, these protests will go on. We will be unstable. And then if we are unstable, politically unstable, we will not be able to raise the international resources we need. IMF has very clearly said that they want this country to be politically stable and to come up with a plan for economic recovery, for showing that we are going to earn more than we spend and repay our loans. Now, that will not be possible. None of that will be possible if there's chaos on the ground. So the first thing is to restore the trust of the people in the government. And second is, of course, to deal with the economic crisis, to get dollars into our economy. We are bankrupt. We have no dollars. We can't, ships that have come to our port with petrol have turned away because we didn't have $40 million to pay them. We are very grateful to India for all it has given us, but we can't go on relying on India to bankroll us. So we need to make a fresh start with our economy, and we need a government that the people trust.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, you said that Ranil Wickremesinghe may very well win and become the next president. But what about the other two contenders as well? There is the ex-education minister and leftist leader as well. Your perspective on both of them?
Yes. Now, actually, the race has become quite tight now, because the leader of the opposition decided to back out, and because his party has only 50 seats in a 225-seat parliament, whereas Ranil Wickremesinghe's party has about 140 seats. So the ones who are supporting him. So he backed out, and he is supporting a breakaway group from the ruling party. In fact, the ruling party has split in two, because the Ranil Wickremesinghe is the candidate of the Rajapaksas, but the chairman of the ruling party has thrown his weight behind the breakaway candidate. Now it is possible that the breakaway candidate, with the support of the opposition leader and with the support of many of the main ethnic minority parties, the main Tamil party, the main Muslim party, have also thrown their support behind the breakaway candidate and the opposition leader. So now it's a very close fight. And it is possible that the opposition, the that the breakaway candidate, supported by the opposition, in a sense, a consensus, would prevail.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, what happens next, if you can just take us through the procedure now once the election itself is done with?
Yeah, now, once the election is done with, then the counting will start. And each voter, each of the parliamentarians who's a voter is given three preferences: first preference, second preference, third preference. So it depends on if in the first count, the person, if he gets a majority, if he gets 50% of the vote, 51% of the votes, then he's declared winner. But if no one gets 51% of the vote, then they go to the second preference and count the second preferences of the first two candidates. So that's the procedure that will be adopted.
All right, we leave it there. Jehan Perera, thank you so much for joining us with all of that perspective.